There, it works better when the microphone's on. Good morning, everybody. It's your buddy Bill Hurrelbrink, and we are here talking with Bill's Weekend Picks, and we're going to talk about a slew of activities that are going on across the Kansas City metropolitan area here this weekend. It is an exceptionally big weekend in Kansas City with Mother's Day, of course, on the horizon. So here is your first reminder. Go buy yourself or buy your mom something nice here. You got 4 days to do it or 3 days to do it. So time is running out. Get out there and do something nice for your mom here coming up this week. And at the bare minimum, call your mom on Sunday. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. But the first thing I want to talk about is a big theater event that's happening downtown. It's MJ the Musical is coming to the Music Hall. It actually opened on Tuesday. It's running through Sunday. I grew up a huge fan of Michael Jackson's music, and it's all on display at the Music Hall with MJ the Musical. The tour is in. Again, got to go here on Tuesday with one of our web directors here at the TV station, Greg Daly, along with Katie Van Lucien. She's one of the promoters of the show, and I mean, it was so hard not to sing along with every single song and the entire production. And another guy who got to go to the show, well, he got a little bit of backstage look, is my KC Live's Shane Kanicki joining us here this morning. Shane, I got to see the show Tuesday. Yesterday, you got to go backstage and kind of get meet the actors, kind of get a first-hand look of everything, and you have a piece that's going to be running tomorrow morning on My KC Live. First off, just tell us about meeting the actor that portrayed Michael Jackson in MJ the Musical.
Yeah, his name's Roman Banks. He's, first off, a very, very nice guy, but he's also very, very talented, obviously. I mean, we chatted a little bit before we actually went to talk with Roman, and you were saying how, man, just how he disappeared into that role, which I passed along, by the way, to him, and he was very, very appreciative. He called it high praise, but it just... it's so neat to sort of talk with him, with someone who, like you were saying, everybody sort of loves Michael Jackson's music. And he grew up, he said he was preparing for this role his whole life because he would dance to Michael Jackson songs when he was younger. His mom, he said, would play a lot of Jackson 5. And so being able to embody this role was a lot of pressure in there, but was also a dream come true type of role for him, which was pretty neat to talk with him about.
Now, were you only able to talk to him? Did you meet any of the other actors? Because what stood out to me, obviously he did a fantastic job with Michael, and as I told you yesterday, there were glimpses at times where it was hard to tell. He has the right timbre in his voice when he sings the music. He has the same movements. I mean, nobody moves like Michael Jackson, let's be honest. But at moments, it's hard to tell the difference. One of the ones that really stood out to me, though, was the kid that plays the younger Michael Jackson. And when they did some of those Jackson 5 revisits where they started singing ABC and, you know, some of those great songs from the Motown catalog, that was one of my favorite moments of the show. Did you get to meet any of them?
We didn't, unfortunately. It was just with Roman, but that's the cool part about the show, is kind of like what you're talking about, where you get to see multiple versions of Michael. It's kind of like a cool behind-the-scenes look of all the creative process that Michael had when he was going in. I mean, you can watch YouTube videos and see a little behind-the-scenes of the actual Michael Jackson doing it, and it is cool to see his process. He was so precise in everything he was doing, and they bring that to this show as well. In fact, some of the stuff, I mean, I was asking him because I was a little curious. It's tough to step into the shoes of the king of pop. And so all of the different dance moves, I asked him how he prepared for sort of this thing. And he said he was super nervous for the audition because he hadn't been dancing for a while. And so just getting in there and sort of loosening up the muscles and trying to do what Michael did in the audition was pretty tough. But he said it's a lot of rhythm. It's a lot of just snapping and moving the hips and stuff. And when he was showing us it, which you'll see tomorrow on My KC Live, he is very, very good. He's got it down. And I know you said the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's glimpses of, am I watching Michael Jackson?
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things also that I noticed, his snaps and his claps, I don't know if they mic his hands, they're so loud. And that's one of the things in the movie that they put out right after Michael Jackson died. And I remember there was that movie about how loud he could snap on stage or clap, you know, and how that just permeated through rest of the performance. And it almost does in a way here, too. Now, you kind of alluded to it. You have your piece coming tomorrow on My KC Live. Yeah. What are we going to see Shane Kanicki do with MJ the Musical?
You're going to see him try and dance with Roman. It is not good. I think I still have like a hamstring strain from trying to do the kick. But it is so interesting to try and do some of the moves that obviously Roman's been perfecting, and obviously Michael Jackson just completely perfected when he was doing that stuff. And so seeing how difficult those moves are, just something as simple as a kick with the toe points and getting that air up. I mean, he is very, very talented. I think he was in High School Musical, the musical on Disney Plus.
Oh, really?
The series, yeah, that they've got going on there too. He was on Broadway as Dear Evan Hansen. I think he was actually Evan Hansen in that as well. So he's a very, very talented guy, and you will see that on stage when he's doing some of these moves.
Definitely very cool. We appreciate your time here this morning, Shane. I saw you were out this morning. What were you doing this morning? You were doing like some knitting, tufting?
Tufting. It's the first time I've ever heard of tufting. Have you ever heard of tufting before?
I have not.
Yeah, so this is a whole thing. It's actually kind of like I wouldn't say knitting, but it's like yarn with this gun that just goes, and you can actually make rugs and all this stuff and be very, very precise. It's pretty cool. They've got a workshop that's going on over at Images Art Gallery this weekend. There's still some spots. If you do My KC Live as the promo in there, you can actually get some money off of doing it. But it's really, really neat.
All right.
And Yarn Rambo is the gal that puts it on, and she's fantastic.
You're shooting yarn with a gun with a lady named
Yarn
Rambo?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It doesn't get much better than that. Shane Kinnicky, My KC Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock here on, 9 o'clock on KCTV5. 10 o'clock is The Price is Right. That's Drew Carey. If Drew Carey was sitting next to me right now, that'd be even cooler.
He'd be patting you on the back.
Shane Kinnicky, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thanks,
We
Bill.
do appreciate it. All right. So, yeah, definitely something cool to check out there at the Music Hall. Again, that is Michael Jackson, MJ, the musical, that is airing through Sunday. Of course, you can get tickets at the box office there. Hopefully there's a few left. There was a pretty good crowd there on Tuesday night, so I'd anticipate that just ramping up as we get closer to the weekend. Let's hit on a few other things that are happening around town here this weekend. If you want to get maybe a little bit of a refreshing drink on, it is the KC Summer Beer Fest happening on Saturday. That is over at Arrowhead Stadium. You can get in there and check out a number of different breweries that'll be there. Here's just some of them. Well, obviously, Boulevard will be there. Founders, City Barrel, Goose Island from up in Chicago. You can try some 312 from up there. Sam Adams. New Belgium, Shiner Beers will be there, Delirium. So look at all those great breweries that'll be there. You can go check out their offerings at the Kansas City Summer Beer Fest. Again, that one's happening on Saturday. Let's go ahead and check that out. A little bit pricey to get in there. $50 for a GA ticket, $65 get your early admission, $90 for that VIP admission. You can go up onto the website there to get your tickets for that. Again, that is KC Beer Fest happening out at Arrowhead coming up on Saturday. Elsewhere, there's some other fun stuff to do. This one is going to be on Saturday as well. If you are an aquarium aficionado, the Kansas City, or the Heart of America Aquarium Society of Kansas City is holding their annual fish swap. That's coming up. Their spring swap, not a fish swap, excuse me. Spring swap, that's happening on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Price is right for this one. If you want to have a vendor table, you have to pay for that, but you can go walk in and check it out. They're going to have a lot of local breeders, vendors, and hobbyists. Maybe this is something that you want to take a look at, get started with. You've always wanted to have an aquarium. This would be a great thing to go check out. Again, it is the Heart of America Aquarium Society of Kansas City. They're having their annual spring swap. That's happening Saturday up in the Northland off North Oak Traffic Way. It's the church there at 80th and North Oak Traffic Way on the east side of the road. Go check that one out there. So that is something fun to do. But I know so if you've watched our morning show at all here over the last couple of months, you've noticed Carolina Cruz is aching to get plants in the ground. And I'm saying, hey, the rule of thumb about planting outside here in Kansas City is you always want to wait till Mother's Day. Well, Mother's Day is this weekend. And what better way to honor mom or to help mom, to give a nice gift to mom than a nice plant? Well, they're having a great plant sale this weekend over at the Anita Gorman Conservation Area, or the Discovery Center. And the great thing about this is it's a native plant sale. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make sometimes is they try to plant really colorful plants that maybe aren't necessarily native to Kansas City. They don't thrive very well in local gardens. So making sure you get native plants that thrive here is very important to have a very lush garden. And, of course, you can do that coming up this weekend at the Anita Gorman Discovery Center. That's going to happen on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., so only about 4 hours on that one. But they have several different nurseries that will be in attendance. You can see them listed right there on your screen. That involves City Roots Nursery, Galena's Garden, Missouri Wildflowers Nursery, Ozark Soul, and So Wild Natives. Great ideas to get mom a nice little present there at the plant sale. And if you don't want to do that, maybe you want to get out and about. There were a few tickets left for this last event, and Janae, I didn't put this one on the little list there, so I'm kind of pulling an audible on you. But the Pottery and Pub is happening this Saturday. That's going to be the Sip and Glaze at Casey Wineworks. So that's downtown. Oh, it did just sell out. I put this one on the list yesterday. There were still a few tickets available, but now it looks like, and unfortunately, has sold out. So if you got tickets, good for you. You get to take your mom out there and go have some fun. If you didn't get tickets, have to put something else on the back burner. But, of course, it is Mother's Day this weekend, and we know you should be out there taking care of your mom. Do something nice for mom. Call your mom. But, of course, we know a lot of folks going through some tough times here as well. So if this is maybe your first Mother's Day that you don't get to have a phone call with your mom, that's okay. There's a lot of people that are going through the same thing that you are. We see you, we hear you, and we feel you as well. So if you can, pick up the phone, call your mom, get her something nice. Be as nice as you can because she put up with you for a long time. And so you need to be as nice as you can to her. That's going to do it for Bill's Weekend Picks here this week. Of course, if you've got an event coming up you want us to talk about here on the show, make sure you drop me a line. You can see Bill KCTV5 right there at the bottom of your screen. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, America. I don't have the AOL address anymore, but we're still there. Drop me an email. It's on KCTV5.com, and we'll include it on Bill's Weekend Picks. Next week, there is a play happening down in Belton. A young student from the high school down there reached out. We're going to hopefully talk to him here this week. We'll bring you that interview coming up next week on Bill's Weekend Picks, along with another bountiful weekend of fun events happening here in Kansas City. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Thursday, a great Friday, and, of course, a great weekend. Take care.